Welcome to the Personal Injury Marketing Minute, where we quickly cover the hot topics in the legal marketing world. I'm your host, Lindsay Busfield. It has been long documented that people have different learning styles and engagement styles. Some are hands-on, others learn by reading, and others are more engaged by videos. The latter has only increased with the convenience and availability of videos through various social media platforms. Many successful law firms have embraced this trend, providing useful, entertaining video content to attract prospective clients. Cindy Speaker, founder and owner of Law TV Network, is joining us today as we continue our Spotlight on PILMMA series. Her presentation will be on the best strategies for video marketing. But today, we'll be looking at the flip side of that, the mistakes attorneys make in video marketing. Thank you so much for joining us today, Cindy.
Oh, thanks for having me, Lindsay. It's nice to be here.
Well, tell me a little bit about yourself and your experience in video marketing.
I am. From the time I was a kid, I won my first video camera when I was selling seeds around the neighborhood, and that started it all. And I went on to get a master's degree in TV and film. And from there, I worked for a large law firm, a multi-state law firm in Philadelphia. We were in New York and Washington, D.C., did a lot of TV advertising and things like that. And from there, I told my boss 5 years later that I would really like to go out on my own. He gave me his blessing. He said, listen, how about if you just stick with us for a while and work part-time till you get your business up and running, which I did. And then I launched a product called Power Marketing for Attorneys, which got me speaking engagements. And from there, I was on, I got a lot of clients from speaking, and been doing it now for 20 years.
That's fantastic. And what a great experience that you had the support that you needed to launch your career and be able to have the opportunities to find clients who were even 20 years ago valuing this service.
Yeah.
And not all lawyers have engaged with this trend either. They're nervous about it, or they don't necessarily know what kind of videos to make, or they think they won't get traffic. And I think a lot of those fears, some are founded in reality and some are created in our own minds. But what are some of the biggest real challenges that lawyers face when making videos?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's their time, because they don't prioritize video. They don't see it as something that needs to be prioritized. But if they do prioritize it, or if they do even say, hey, we want to make some videos, they don't know where to go, where to get equipment, what to buy, or any of that. And what I always do is start off, there's a great store, B&H Photo and Video. You're probably familiar with it, up in New York. And B&H Photo and Video has a great audio, video department, etc. And that's the place where I always tell lawyers, start there. I mean, I can give them a plan of buy this camera or whatever, but talking to the people at B&H and finding out just exactly how much they want to spend, etc., is a great way to really decide what to spend. So I think the biggest challenges are time. They don't prioritize, they don't prioritize video. And then when they do, they don't know what to buy, and they don't know anything about framing or lighting or sound. And even though that information is relatively easy to find, it seems to be overwhelming to them. That's why
Ironically, a
we get a
lawyer
lot
could
of
just go on YouTube and find a video about
exactly,
how to set this up. And even
exactly.
something as simple as an iPhone camera. I mean, I know that technology has been, clearly advancing over the years, but to get professional stuff versus an iPhone stuff will make some difference there. And so one of the things that lawyers often ask me questions about when they're considering video marketing is, what the heck am I going to talk about? And so it's hard for them to transition out of their lawyer hat to
Yeah.
the viewpoint of somebody who's going to be coming to them and watching these videos. So what are some of the mistakes that lawyers make in terms of content ideation?
I think one of the mistakes they make is that they're too salesy. I mean, there's a place for that on TV with TV ads, but in making videos for your firm, I really recommend that you start with FAQs and you answer commonly asked questions. It's not that difficult to find out what are the most common questions that are being asked and then answer those questions. So I think FAQs are a great way to start. But being too salesy is, I think, a big mistake. The other thing that's on the horizon, really coming faster than we may realize, is AI. And I think overusing AI is a big mistake. People want authenticity. It's not that difficult to tell if something is done with AI. Now, I use AI every day for research, and it's a valuable tool, but I don't do nothing that goes out is done by AI. I don't think that we're at that point where people should be using AI to create their videos and create their scripts. I think they still need the hands-on authenticity.
Absolutely. And I think that that's a good point about the scripts as well. And I have talked to some attorneys and they're like, well, I went to Chat GPT and asked, what are the most popular videos on the internet for lawyers? And that's the list that I want to use.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting approach, but that means that it's already been done 1,000 times. And you aren't necessarily wanting to create the same videos that 1,000 other attorneys have done. They're never going
Right.
to rank. Nobody's going to find them. The information's already out there.
Yeah.
Find something else, and you use your brain.
Yeah.
It to to find a different angle. So I think that that's a great point about AI, where yes, it can be helpful for research. It can be helpful for brainstorming. If you want to make something and maybe lean into the fact that AI isn't great, then by all means do that. But you're right, it's just not there yet.
No.
Uh, and with that, it's interesting because I know that in several states you have to have disclaimers on your commercials that say this is a non-attorney spokesperson or
Yes. Yes.
yeah. And with AI, I wonder where that line is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what are some, beyond that, what are some other legal or ethical missteps that you can caution lawyers about when it comes to creating video content?
A couple of things that really come into play are getting music rights, getting stock footage rights. And you wouldn't believe how many people will pull, TikTok has a library, so you pull video off of TikTok. I mean, you put audio off of TikTok and you use it and it's acceptable. But that's the only platform that is really acceptable. And so you've got to have the music rights. I use a company called Envato, and I pay $20 a month and I can get all the music I want and I have the rights and I need the licenses because I'll tell you, YouTube, it's really interesting. I have licenses for everything I do, all my stock footage, all my music rights, but we'll still get copyright strikes once in a while, and I have to go in and upload the licenses. So it's very important that you have licenses for both your audio, your music, and your stock images. And that's something that, well, you can look on YouTube and you'll see copyright strikes on lawyers' YouTube channels.
Yes, and that is a big deal and a very expensive issue if you make that mistake. And we see that all the time with some of our clients who had websites prior to working with us, where they pulled some images, or they or their previous SEO agency or web development agency pulled some images from the internet and didn't have the rights to them, or
Yeah.
they thought that they were getting them from a royalty-free site that was available for commercial use, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
Um, and they'll get a letter saying, you pay us $5,000 or we're
Right.
going to sue you. And more often than not, a lawyer will just write a check and be done with it. But it can turn into a real headache if that happens over and over again, and you're not taking the right corrective steps to make
Yeah.
sure that you're only pulling from legitimate sources. And so those are some good mistakes just to be aware of when it comes to creating the content. But what about in the production of the video? So making the video itself,
Yeah.
what mistakes do you see when lawyers are behind the camera or using the camera? Anything in terms of video production?
Yeah. Well, just taking a look at the environment and the framing, a lot of times on videos, you'll see too much headspace, you'll see bad framing, bad lighting, poor sound. And I think that I'll tell you, Lindsay, I really believe we're at a point, and I've believed this for years, where there needs to be a video person, a part-time video person in every law firm, because video is so important. And like you mentioned earlier, iPhones, user-generated video with iPhones around the office, in the community, things like that is fantastic. But if you have somebody that has some skill, it's going to make your brand look a whole lot better than if you frame things improperly, you don't light them properly, and the sound is poor. So I think those are the biggest problems I see.
Yeah. And I see some really similar things, and especially when video is becoming more integrated with websites. We have Intaker, which is a great intake platform, and you have the option of uploading a video into that platform to welcome people to your website. And some of the videos are great, and some I look at that and I go, oh, you kind of look like you're being held hostage in your environment just because the lighting is like, whoa, and you see some funny things.
Right,
So
right.
yes, those are some great things to keep in mind as you are thinking about the production of your videos.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that we see, that are technically done right. Lighting is fine, environment is fine. But are there any overused formats or styles that you see lawyers defaulting to just because they've seen that a million times and they think that that's what they should be doing?
I think that one of the problems is that we started out in the video world with lawyer ads, and that is kind of the go-to. And I think that, as I had said, I think FAQs are the way to go for content that you create for your firm. But I think that the videos, so often they're too salesy, and the purpose is to educate and inform and not give a big sales pitch. Obviously, you want there to be a pitch, and there needs to be your phone number on there and how to contact you and things like that. But I think being too salesy is a problem. And another pet peeve I have is an overuse of slow motion, that dramatic walk up the courthouse steps. I think that's a little overused.
I absolutely agree. Like, and the first thing that comes to mind is the Sarah McLachlan, like the animal videos, the dog videos,
Right.
and they have a great message and they're doing great
Yes.
work. But oh my gosh, it kills. But yes, doing that with yeah, the courthouse and the handshake, and like, I mean,
Right. Right.
it's trite and it's been done 100,000 times. And the whole point of having a video is so that somebody can have a warm introduction to you as an attorney, especially in the world of personal injury where somebody's in crisis mode and they need to know that they can trust this person and they are trying to find the best person for their case. And if they see, John Lawyer, who's the same as every other John Lawyer out there, it's not going to be an effective video marketing campaign. Uh,
Right.
and so let's say you do everything right. You have great FAQs, you have the right setup, you look fabulous in your video. But then what do you do with it? Where
Yeah.
do lawyers typically drop the ball when it comes to
Yeah.
promoting their content and getting it in front of potential clients?
Well, I think one place where they really drop the ball is not realizing you've got to put an ad spend behind these videos. They're not Organic reach is very difficult to achieve, at least from the onset. And I think you've got to put an ad spend when you put your videos out there. The other thing is they use limited distribution platforms instead of getting it everywhere. And then one of the biggest ones is they do the videos and then they don't put them on their website. And if they do put them on the website, they use YouTube embed codes instead of uploading them and embedding them natively. And so I think some of those things are big problems. But the biggest one I would say is they don't realize they've got these videos done and now they put them out there on their YouTube channel, and they don't realize you really need an ad spend to give some momentum to those videos.
Yeah, you can't just rely on people going, I wonder what John Lawyer is up to
Right.
today and looking for your video specifically. You're never going to get any traction. You need to make sure that you are getting these videos in front of the people who need to see them. And, as social media and all of these video platforms have found out, you can charge to do that. So having that budget behind it is going to make a world of difference.
Absolutely.
So let's say that, everybody has done all of these things right, but, maybe a couple of things are wrong. And some of those can have a minor impact. Some of those can be a devastating impact. So what do you think is the single worst mistake a lawyer can make when it comes to their video content from any of these
Yeah.
categories?
I actually think the worst mistake is to not create video on a consistent basis because in my opinion, and I've been doing this a long time, I think video should be an integral part of your marketing plan. And I think you need to do it on a consistent basis. I have a lawyer that I've had, he's actually been a client for 20 years, believe it or not. And he taught, we still do videos every week. And he said, we're just going to keep that snowball going, Cindy, because it's working. And it's like, it's kind of like you just keep at it because there's value in having that consistency of fresh content going out on a regular basis.
Yes, it keeps with the top of mind awareness if you are pushing this video content out regularly. And clearly there is a huge segment of the population that spends their time watching videos, and they're more likely to watch a video than they are to read text or to ask Google. They really want to engage and meet their attorney through this platform and this tool.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about PILMMA. I am very excited. We're just a few days away from going. So what are you looking forward to most about PILMMA?
You know what I love about PILMMA, and Ken does a great job there, but I love that you find out what is over the horizon. It's like what's coming next, and that's what we learn about through the speakers and things like that. So to me, that's the greatest thing. But the networking is wonderful. It's great to see everybody and network with one another, and it Ken just puts on a first class event.
He does. I absolutely love going and meeting great people and listening to the presentations. And I always come back so energized and ready to take next steps. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Cindy. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.